Malacca. The East India Company finally started to venture beyond India, even further into the Orient. The Portuguese were far ahead of them at this time, and already controlled part of the Malay Peninsula called Malacca. The East India Company invaded the area and conquered it from the Portuguese. The trading port was surrounded by the Malay Johor Sultanate, Dutch East Indies. After the conquest of Malacca, the East India Company had ventured to the southern islands of Indonesia. Yet again, the Portuguese were already there. The East India Company gradually conquered most of the important Portuguese trading ports and replaced them with their own. Indonesia was the one place where the company sought to take full control of the entire region. They conquered most of the islands of Indonesia to dominate trade and monopolize. The VOC had even paid Japanese samurai to genocide several islands within Indonesia to quash any form of resistance. The native Mataram Sultanate attempted to fight off the company several times and came close to defeating them, but to no avail. Taiwan. The East India Company started moving north towards the East China Sea and encountered an island called Taiwan. They quickly set up trading outposts there before any other Europeans did. The native peoples were Austronesian, related to the Indonesians and Malays from before. For the first time in decades, the Spanish waged war against them in Taiwan, but the East India Company fought them back. Afterwards, they had invited many Chinese settlers to work for them and increase productivity for the colony. There were so many Chinese settlers moving to the island for centuries that the Austronesians were outnumbered in their own land. Japan. The East India Company would finally reach the end of the Orient. Japan. Japan was already being influenced by the Portuguese. They had been selling the daimyo firearms, causing the rise of a new shogun to dominate the land. The East India Company arrived in Japan during the Tokugawa shogunate. The Dutch and the Portuguese were constantly competing with each other. The Portuguese were desperately trying to convert the Japanese to Catholicism, while the Dutch were simply there to trade goods. The Japanese purchased a plethora of Dutch literature that gave the Japanese a new renaissance of modern European knowledge of science, anatomy, mathematics, art, and other fields.